Do you feel like your church is lacking community connection? Do you feel like no matter what you try, your community just doesn't care about you? And in the most spiritually open time of the year, they go elsewhere, possibly even falling into the trap of a false prophet, false teacher, or wolf in sheep's clothing. Are you ready to see the declining attendance in your church? Are you ready to see that end? And in 2024, see more people coming back to you to hear the gospel? And do you understand that online is an important way that people are communicating? That's where they are, but you just don't know how to resonate with people online and to get them to notice you, to know you, to trust you, and to take a next step with you. In today's episode, I want to change that in your life, your ministry. I want to fire up your church. And what I'm going to show you today is going to radically change how you view promoting your church and raising awareness. I want to take you from waking up dreary and regretting the day and coming into a quiet office. I want you to wake up excited with an inbox full of people that want to see or hear about the church and know more information. I want you to walk in a church on Sunday morning and the greeters don't greet you because they're busy with other people, with new people, showing them around the church. I want you to see more seated chairs than empty chairs. And what I'm going to show you is what everyone else is doing to capture attention. And I'm going to show you how your church, what you need to do to capture attention, to point it to Christ, and to bring people into your church to be discipled and hear the gospel. And we're going to use a very modern but accessible way for even small churches to do just that, to resonate within your community and not just broadcast about your church, but to actually get people into one-on-one discipleship-focused conversations with you, your team, your leadership, and your leaders. We're going to get into it today, and we're going to be high level, but we're still going to be outrageous in our thinking, because if you can nail the three things that I'm going to show you today, this time next year in 2024 or at the end of 2024, you're going to see an entirely different excitement on Sunday mornings. You're going to see an entirely different office atmosphere during the week. And you're going to go to bed not regretting the next day, but excited. I want 5 o'clock to come and you're like, man, I'm not done yet. Instead of more of the same. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Best Known Church Show, where we show you how to 10x your reach with church marketing that will help you increase your impact, make more disciples, and become the cornerstone of your community again. This is for the leaders with an outrageous vision, because anything less would be an inaccurate reflection of our Creator. The ones who have unreasonable faith, because you know God works unreasonable miracles. And the ones who are relentless in the pursuit of your calling, because anything less would not make a good and faithful servant. If that's you, you're in the right place. Now, please welcome your host and guide on this journey to become the best known organization in your community, Justin Nava.
Welcome to the award-winning Best Known Church Show, where we're going to help you go from unknown to well-known to best known, known throughout your community, and not just known, but actually open up community engagement to get people coming to you to be discipled because they understand that Jesus Christ can rescue them from the bondage and redeem them and heal them through the context of your local church. And today we're going to talk about some powerful strategies that your church can use in 2024 to radically shift how your church functions, how you reach people. And I'm not saying we're going to replace what you're doing right now. You can if you want, but if you even just add it onto what you're doing now, even the stuff that doesn't work, you're going to see some tremendous shift. And we're going to start by going into the new era that we have now in churches utilizing modern marketing methods, and that's personalized outreach. Okay. Now, a lot of churches, when they do outreach, they take a very generic approach. We're just going to put some information out there. Right? You ever have someone come up to you and say, I didn't hear about this. And you're like, we put it everywhere. We put it on social. I sent an email about it. We announced it from the pulpit. What they don't really mean, I didn't hear about that. Why didn't I hear about that? What they really mean is, I probably heard it, but I didn't remember it. And when you treat church announcements or church marketing promotions generically, you're going to get generic results, which are easily ignored. And not only that, if you repeat the same thing the wrong way too many times, they're going to get tired of it, or they're going to get used to ignoring it. And more importantly, the other thing that churches often do, and keep listening if this is something that you feel, a one-size-fits-all approach means that nothing feels personal. When you tell someone about your church, whether it's in person, whether it's on a website, whether it's in an ad, or whether it's in the parking lot on Sunday, okay, it should feel to the person you're talking to like a custom fitted suit, right? A custom tailored suit or a custom fitted shirt. It should feel like when they hear about you, they're like, this place was built for me. God made this place for me. Right? And not in a selfish way that, hey, this is going to be a rock show that I'm going to love, but in a way that this church understands me so well that I have to do this because nothing else has ever resonated with me in this unique way. And in fact, when you clearly communicate your church in the way that I'm going to share with you today, it's going to I don't want to say that it's going to enhance the calling that God is placing on their life to take a next step. But it's going to remove the obstacles, because I think a lot of times what we're guilty of as churches is complicating what we're doing to the point where if God calls someone, we get in the way and we overcomplicate it. We make it too difficult. It's kind of like, I've heard this several times from several different pastors in several different instances where it was a good sermon, but Pastor Joe just got in the way. That was a good message. That was something that God wanted to share with the congregation, but Pastor Joe just kept getting in the way. He overcomplicated it. He put too much of himself in it. And I think as pastors, that's something, and church leaders too, when you're teaching a class or whatever you're doing, you don't want to get in the way of God. You want to remove those obstacles. And one of the ways that I'm going to share with you now is how you can personalize your outreach to resonate with the people that you're called to serve, you're equipped to serve, you're gifted to serve, and to get them feeling like this is the answer. This is no longer an option in my life. This is the answer. Okay. Now, when I talk about personalized outreach, I'll go into specifically what that is, but a lot of churches, they think personalized outreach is just for the larger churches. It's just for the ones that can afford the paid MailChimp plan, right? We're on the free one. We're just using our church management system. Look, you can do this. It doesn't have to be any more expensive, really. If you follow the different ways I'm going to show you today, some of them, you might need a software for, but some of them you can easily do. Okay. Because even as a small church, one of the advantages you have is you can personally reach out. But as you grow, as you scale, or pastor, if you're bivocational, as you run into less time, some of the ways that I'm going to share with you today are going to allow you to still continue that personalized outreach, but you don't have to sit there and type things by hand. Okay. And when you do things by hand, it is going to be too time consuming. It is going to be expensive time wise, right? It's going to cost a lot of time. And that's one of our only non-renewable resources that God gives us. And so what I'm going to share with you is different ways that you can cultivate and harvest without taking more and more time throughout your week. Okay. Now, what do I mean when I talk about personalized outreach? Okay. Here's what I mean. Let's imagine that you've got, let's say, Mary. Mary's out here. And she's obviously unhappy with her life. She's not reborn. She's living in sin. She's dead inside. She's dead in spirit. And whenever she feels like her life isn't going well enough, whenever she feels like there's something more and your church isn't there, she's going to hear, oh, well, it's weight's your problem. She's going to hear money. You don't have enough money. Your relationships are not where it's at. If you just got a good man, or if you just, were a little looser around men, maybe, you would be happy. These are the lies that the world is constantly throwing her at her. You need this subscription. You need this product. You need this. She is being bombarded with messages. And the last thing I want for your church is to be another message. It's going to be more of the same. That is not what we want. So when I talk about personalized outreach, what ends up happening is in the midst of all of the noise that Mary has in her life, your church sticks out. And she can do nothing but pay attention to you and hear your message. You're going to be louder. You're going to be more personal. You're going to stick out to where none of the other things matter. And only your church appears to be the answer, because it really is, in her life, the answer. Okay? So when you do that more tailored approach, you're going to automatically stand out and say, this is it for you. She is going to not be able to ignore you. She is going to take a next step with you, and you're going to greatly boost your church attendance, first-time guests, to make more disciples, because you can do this at scale. So instead of Pastor you just talking to Mary, or Pastor's wife just talking to Mary, you can have a system where Mary comes to you already prepared to receive the word, because you've introduced what your church can do, what your church has done, what Jesus has done in your church. And it's going to be way easier for people to take a next step, because, again, they feel like the church and God is specifically to them. It's like when you preach a sermon and you feel like, or maybe you're in the congregation and pastor's preaching a sermon, or whoever's talking, and you're like, oh, this is made for me. He's talking directly to me, right? You're taught in seminary, pick one or two people and just preach to that person. And your community can feel like that. They can feel like you, your church, your marketing, your promotions, your social media, your website, your emails, your texts are speaking directly to them. So what do I mean by personalized outreach? Personalized outreach is essentially taking that broadcast style of announcements or promotions, and instead of saying, hey, we're here, come see us, two things can happen. Number one, you can say, hey, Joseph, Pastor Ken here. I know that this time is a really difficult time. It's a real stressful time. And even when you are completely blessed beyond what you deserve, for some reason, this time of joy and peace and love is just a time of stress, teeth grinding, and sleepless nights. And it shouldn't be that way. And so what I want to do is I want to invite you to a time where you can leave all that aside and you can come experience God's perfect peace and celebrate with him and figure out and just have a moment of breathing time, really, and discover a little bit about what Christmas is really about. It's a safe time for your family. It's a good time for your family. We want to invite you. The time of the recording this, it's Christmas time. So I'm using a Christmas event. It could be any event. What does that do? Number one, use the person's name. Okay. Now, if you have a church management system, this works well for your members. You can talk to your members directly via email, text, whatever you're using. If you don't have a guest management system, that means something that you can build a library or a database of people that have interacted with your church but maybe aren't members. Then you are able to, sorry, I'm getting a message here. I want to make sure it's not related to the show, but it's not. You are able to, if you have a guest management system, you are able to talk to individual people that have interacted with your church, but they're not on your membership database yet. So you can use their names because you have their names, and software is able to do this. It's called basic personalization. But I want to go deeper than that. I want to, and this is where small churches can really stand out. You need to know what their problems, their pains, their anxieties, what is keeping them up at night. And in this case, Joseph, in that, for example, let's say it was an email, you didn't even need to use their name because you were able to almost mind read their needs and pains and stresses so well that they feel like this was written straight for me. Obviously, I need to go to this. That could be a Facebook ad, right? Do you have any? Why is Christmas so stressful when we're blessed beyond what we deserve? Shouldn't there be an easier way let's just have a peaceful time where we can really spend time with our family, enjoy with our family, and leave the rest of the stress behind. That's what our Christmas presentation, show, cantata, whatever it is going to be. That's what this summer camp is all about. It's tough being a teen. Leave all that behind and let's experience what God has for your teen at summer camp. right? If you specifically speak to their needs, their desires, even though they may have worldly desires, if you speak to them in a way that's just going to leave more wants, that's just going to leave more pain and bondage, then you can introduce Christ as the ultimate fulfillment of their desires and the ultimate way of abundant life. If you can speak to people in a way that they feel understood, that's way more better than just saying, hey, Joseph, hey, Mary. Joseph and Mary. I didn't make that connection that those were the names I was picking out of thin air. It's Christmas time. Okay. Now, so you can do the personalized emails. You can do the targeted ads. So personalized emails, you have their names. So you can say, hey, Joseph, hey, Mary, hey, Jacob, right? Or you can do the targeted ads. Okay, we're going to go after families. We're going to go after families with a certain income. We're going to go after new movers. Hey, it's Christmas time. You're brand new to the area. You're still figuring things out. Hey, we got a place where you can come and hang out and enjoy some Christmas time, enjoy some hot cocoa, enjoy some classic Christmas hymns, and meet some of the community. So you don't have to feel so alone at this Christmas time. Whatever it is, right? You can reach out to those people with targeted ads, and the way you describe their life to them helps them feel understood. And when they feel understood, they will want to connect with you more because everyone loves feeling understood. Okay. And then also any follow-up you do, if you use text in church, if you just write a letter, right, you're going to use their name. Hey, Joe, this is Pastor Ken from this church. Hey, I appreciate you being involved this year, and I want to invite you back. I want to pray for you, right? When you do that, you're going to multiply the number of ways that people feel cared for. One of the things that ticks me off the most is when a pastor or preacher shares a clip or a post on social media and they're met with, tax the church. This guy's just doing this to get people to give him his money. Okay, but if you can share something on social media in an email or text or whatever in a way that helps people feel understood, they don't feel like you're after their money. They feel like you're after improving their life through Jesus Christ, of course. Which, by the way, I'm getting tired of having to constantly say through Jesus Christ, but I know if I don't, people are going to be like, oh, you think church is just about making people happy. Okay, bro, I know I don't want to come off that way. Everything we do in church is in the name of Christ, in the name of the mission for him. And church marketing is one of the ways that we can get that message and gospel out to people. Okay. But anyways, if you use this personalized outreach, one of the ways that we like to do it is with an online guest gift. This is a great way to provide a resource to the community, a prayer guide, a devotional for new movers, like the 10 best restaurants to enjoy on a Sunday afternoon, the best coffee houses, best plumbers. You can use this as an opportunity to promote some of your church members' businesses, whatever it is. It is something that is valuable and it helps them feel understood. Hey, this guy, this church understands that my family is important to me. This church understands that I don't like to be alone. This church understands that I don't have any friends. This church understands that I want to make my marriage better by offering me a prayer guide for my spouse. And so when you offer something like that, an online guest gift or some kind of resource to the community, they feel understood. It feels like a personal outreach. And not only that, when they download it, when they request it, you get their name and email. So they, have to download it and you can send it to them. Now you've opened up that one-on-one communication. Let's say you give them a prayer guide for their spouse. Say, hey, what's your name and email? We'll send it over to you. Perfect. Here it is. Tell us what you think. Here's a family that Jesus Christ rescued from near divorce. And if he can do it with them, he can do it with you. Right? You open up the one-on-one conversations, not just, hey, look at how great we are and how many marriages we saved, but we understand that you're having a problem. It's one-on-one discipleship, really. It's like one-on-one discipleship, having coffee with someone, actually having a dialogue with them, versus just preaching to the masses. Instead of one-to-many, you can move a conversation to one-on-one. And when you do that, they feel understood, they feel heard, they feel empathized with. That gives you authority, that gives you positioning, and that gives you the attention that they can lock in on. And then you take that attention, point it to Christ. That's how you disciple in today's day and age. That personalization can do that. All right. Now, I know I talk a lot about advertising, and that's a word that some people get scared of in the church world. And I completely understand it. In fact, the way many people try to advertise their church is wrong. So you're okay to think that. I'm going to share with you how you can multiply your church's outreach in the digital age using advertising methods, but you're not going to be advertising. You're going to be opening up discipleship conversations, opening up potential discipleship relationships. You're going to be opening up a path that God can use to bring them into church to hear the gospel, and so your people can make disciples. Because your people only know so many people. Your congregation only has so many levels of influence, only so many friends and family that they can invite to church. What about the people that don't know that they don't know your church? What about the people outside of your congregation circle, especially for smaller churches, because you just know fewer people, right? You're 30 people, only know 90 people. And if there's 100,000 people, you're going to maybe get 1% of your town by just using your people. But if you can use modern marketing methods and advertising methods to bring people to church, to introduce them to your congregation, not just you, pastor. I don't want any advertising your church does to be all about the pastor. Okay. If you've got a business, if you've got a separate ministry, great. That's the exception. But for your general church, I want them to feel safe and comfortable to come into your church to then meet your people so they can be the disciple makers, not you, pastor. You're not the lead disciple maker. You're the equiper. You're the shepherd. But it brings an opportunity for them to meet people that they would have never met before and to open up discipleship relationships that they never would have had before. So here's how you multiply your church outreach in the digital age to bring more people in to be discipled. And I would love to see more churches do it using advertising methods. Now, a lot of churches think advertising is just for corporations. It's not. The way advertising is often done should be left with the corporations. Very shallow, very broadcast, very selfish. But if we take advertising and instead turn it into an intentional way to open up discipleship relationships, you will see your entire world transform in 2024. Okay? And a lot of pastors think, and a lot of church leaders think that if we advertise, we're just going to seem profit-driven. We're going to seem commercialized and consumeristic. And again, if you do it the wrong way, you're absolutely right. But if you do it the way I'm about to show you, you're going to see that this is an avenue that God can use to reach people you would never have been able to reach even 5 years ago. And this is why churches that utilize advertising, oftentimes church plants and growth-driven churches, for good or for bad, they see faster growth. And the reason maybe you're stagnant and you can't bring new people in the door is because your congregation has tapped out their network. And anything you do, you just look like every other church. So don't wait for people to start the relationship, to initiate. You'll get some people coming in that way. But if you are proactive, instead of waiting for people to come to you, you go to them. It's not advertising anymore. It's missions. It's evangelism. That's all advertising is evangelism. But instead of evangelizing for businesses, you're now evangelizing for something way more worthwhile, Jesus Christ in the context of your church. I'm going to take a sip here. I've been holding my bottle of water for a long time, and I'm going to finally take a sip. Sparkling water is really helping me cut down on the soda. I'm down to 2 sodas a day. I don't know if I'll ever get past that, below that. Pray for me if you want. I'd love to drink less soda, but sparkling water is really helping me. So anyways, another mistake pastors and church leaders are often using is they don't try anything digital. They stick to traditional advertising methods. And look, unless you've got, I don't know what the math is, but unless you've got more families coming in than families that are going out through your newspaper ads and your yellow page ads, you're wasting money by using these traditional methods. If you're relying only on radio ads, if you're relying only on billboards and yard signs, those work. But maybe if you want results you've never had before, you've got to do things you've never done before and leverage digital to reach people where they are online, because they ain't going to see your billboard. They're not going to see your yard sign. They're not going to hear your radio station because they are on their phones. They're not listening to radio. They're listening to podcasts. They're not looking up at billboards. They're looking down on social media. And they're not seeing yard signs because they're stuck in their house. They're not going out in the neighborhood. And they're certainly not checking the yellow pages or the white pages or whatever publication you're paying hundreds of dollars a month for. They're going to Google. I have a personal business client that chose his name to start with an A because he wanted to be the first listing on the yellow pages for his business. That doesn't matter anymore. It's irrelevant. It doesn't work anymore. He's got to do something he's never done, which is why he asked me to help him out. He's a family friend. I don't do businesses that often, but he's a family friend. Okay. So if you fail to leverage social media, search engine optimization, Google, email, or other digital channels, you're not going to reach any more new people or more new types of people. Okay. If God's calling you to revitalize and you just keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. And just like I said earlier, you're getting in the way of what God's calling you to do by not exiting your comfort zone and not leveraging what God's put right in front of you. Digital ways to reach new kinds of people. Okay. So what can happen if you do utilize advertising for the kingdom? What can happen? Number one, you're going to broaden your reach. All right. Imagine if instead of just preaching to the same congregation the same way, you've now got a way to get in front of people that didn't even know they needed you. They didn't even know what your church was. Okay. Remember, maybe you don't remember, maybe you're new. And in that case, I'm so happy you're here. Like and subscribe. But so often I say when we do messaging and branding work for churches, we're not so much branding the church as much as we are de-branding them from other churches. And so if you can broaden your reach, you get beyond your community, you get beyond the people that you've already talked to, you get beyond the people that you're already reaching, and you get new massive people that, again, if you focus on that personalized message of what the people that you're called to serve and equipped and gifted to minister to effectively, then yeah, you reach a broad amount of people, but you specifically reach more of the type of person that you can actually minister to. The number two thing is you're actually going to see better event attendance, okay? Because you're going to see the same people coming if you use the same methods to reach them. But if you use advertising and actually personalize it per event, you're going to see new kinds of people. So you're going to see someone that saw a social media ad come in for one thing, and you're going to see someone else that saw a Google search result come in for something else, okay? And you can make your ads custom tailored to your event. So instead of the same, we've got this event and we always put it in the paper at this time and we always get the same people every Easter. Instead, you can run an ad that says, this one's for families. Come for our Easter family Sunday and an Easter egg hunt. Okay, but what about the people without kids? Okay, so now we turn it over to, hey, do you want to get your mom off your back about Easter service? Come bring her to Easter service. I wouldn't run a message like this, but I really hope someone does someday. Want to get your mom off your back? Bring her to this church. I think that would work. I just don't know anyone brave enough to do that. And what about the single people? What do you do with them? Well, you run an ad for them for your other event. Okay. Maybe the older generation, right? We've got a Friday night hymn sing. We're singing the old Christmas classics. Now you're going to reach people that think that the rest of the church world forgot about them, because you're being personal and intentional in your outreach. One of the things I love doing is running Facebook ads to new movers, because they don't got no friends. They don't got no church. They don't know who the best plumbers are. They don't know what the best restaurants are. They don't know the different opportunities that await them. And if you don't, as a church, reach out to them, then they're going to find something else somewhere else. They're going to find another community somewhere else. It's not going to be Christ-driven. It's not going to be gospel-centered. So we have to go out and spread the message. That's number 3, okay? You help spread the Christian method. Strategic advertising can help amplify your reach. So more people know you're there. So more people know that they can interact with you. Maybe not at the moment, but down the road. Okay, because remember, like I said last week, if you didn't listen to last week's, go listen to last week's. Even if they're not interested right now, the point is you got their attention. That can turn into interest later down the road. And that's where you've got to really kind of have an intentional view of advertising. It's not so much what this did right now, but you look at what the compounding rate of everything did over the last year. You're going to end 2024 with more people coming in to hear the gospel and be discipled. Okay? So let's break it down real quick. Okay, church advertising is essentially paying money to get in front of people. All right? It's the same thing as mission trips. We pay money to send someone overseas to go get in front of people to spread the message of the good news of God, as we're called to do. Online is another mission field. The difference is you're not going to be a digital ministry that says download this and let's just talk over email and never meet in person. You're not going to be the evangelist. You're going to be the shepherd that brings them in, shares Christ with them, lets them join the flock and be equipped to go out and make more disciples. And it starts with an ad. Okay. We have new ways to, I'm repeating myself. I know we have new ways to reach new kinds of people. People that we're equipped to serve and we could not reach in any other way. All right. Imagine you had a team of missionaries and all you did was say, go find families and invite them to Easter. And 100,000 people went out to every family in town and said, there's this Easter event I want to invite you to. Here's what you can expect. Here's how you're going to feel. Here's what your family's going to experience. And we'd love to have you join us. Can I call you the morning of to remind you? Or can I put you down? Can I RSVP you so I make sure that I have enough barbecue for you? Make sure enough eggs for your kids. Imagine you had 100,000 people to do that for you right now. That's exactly what you can do with advertising, whether it's on social media or something else. When you do it personal, you stand out, and it's exactly like you've got someone actually having that one-on-one dialogue. Okay. A common mistake is they don't personalize it, which is why the whole theme of the podcast that we're talking about is personalization. Okay. Don't just run an ad to everyone. Run an ad to families and talk about why your church is good for families. Run an ad to men and talk about why this event is good for men or good for women or good for kids. Why is summer, I don't know if you want to invite everyone to summer camp, but if you've got VBS, run it to just moms. Okay? Dads probably aren't going to care. Dads aren't going to want to get off the couch, unfortunately. But maybe mom will. Hey, you need a break, mom? You want to get your kids active, doing something, creating something? Get them off the tablet this summer? This is the place to do it. Free summer camp. Okay? But if you just broadcast it out there, VBS, July 17, it's going to be fun. You won't want to miss it. You sound like every other church that I've ever ignored all of the time. But you personalize it. They will pay attention. So a simple thing to do is to strategize how you can, what kind of person you are equipped to serve. Okay. Because again, you're not equipped to serve everyone. Jesus is for everyone, not your church. Okay. And a perfect example of that is tell me when your Korean language service is, because there's people that speak Korean. There's people that speak Mandarin in your town. Maybe you're a bilingual church, in which case you still don't reach everyone in town because you just don't speak their language. A lot of churches say they're equipped to handle everyone. And I said, what can you do with special needs kids? And they tell me their church building is so old, they can't even get wheelchair kids in there. Okay, that's a problem. You're not equipped to serve everyone. That's not a bad thing. But what that does is when you self-evaluate, you will understand who you are equipped to reach, who God has equipped you to specifically serve. This is especially evident in church plants because they are planting because the existing churches are not equipped to reach a specific kind of person. So God calls the church planter to plant a church in an area and to do church a certain way to reach people that haven't been able to be reached yet, or a people group that haven't been able to be reached yet. Okay, do you follow that? You have to be intentional with your advertising. You can't just boost a post. It's not advertising. That's just giving Facebook money to get more eyeballs. You can't do anything with eyeballs. You need to get attention. Convert that attention to intention. Convert that intention into a next step. So in 2024, here's what you can expect if you actually do advertise your church. Number one, like I said, you can expect more attention. Okay, you don't want more views. You don't want more impressions. You want more attention. Okay? A good example of this, I hate this, is when billboard salespeople or sign salespeople come in, they do a survey and they come into church and they say, you've got 120,000 different vehicles passing your church every day. We've got a billboard that 400,000 people see every day. They do not see it. They are eyeballs, they are impressions, they are potential, but there's no guarantee of attention. So you need to get attention. Advertising can help you get that as a church. Advertising methods can help you get that attention as a church and turn it into, maybe I do need to do something different. And that becomes intention. Then it becomes the next step. Well, if I'm going to do something different, if I'm going to take my kids somewhere to get them out of the house for a couple hours in the summer, maybe it will be this VBS. That turns into a next step. The last thing I want to address are some of the key components that you need in your personalized outreach. What makes it personalized, okay? Besides just using first names and emails and texts, I think that's great, okay? Besides speaking to the actual person as if it was a person, you're not writing an ad for everyone. You're writing it to Mary. You're writing it to Joe. Okay, you're aiming, like one of our story brand guys would say, you're aiming for a bullseye, but you're going to hit all around the target. That's a good thing. Okay. I want to make sure that you understand that we stand at a new precipice of opportunity to do ministry. It's like when the airplane was invented. Okay. We could not easily get to other countries to spread the gospel. Now, a few $1,000s, we can go land in another country and do God's work in a way that was never able to be done easily before. And not only that, we can share and celebrate from across the world immediately. I love it when I get missionary emails asking even to YARP for them because they know their emails are being filtered by the government and they are in danger if the government finds out they are a missionary, but they can share that with us through modern methods. In the same way, you don't have to rely on traditional methods anymore to try to get people that you know hasn't worked in the past. You don't know what you don't know. I'm telling you what you don't know now. Relying on traditional broadcast media, traditional advertising methods that's generic, that's just gotten you generic results, needs to change. And if you want to reach more people in 2024, if you want to reach more people for the gospel in your community, to bring them in, to be discipled, to open up new discipleship opportunities, to give your congregation the opportunity to be the disciple makers that they are called to be, utilizing digital outreach personally or personalized is going to do just that. And if I drive past a billboard for a church, I see church billboards all the time. But I don't know the phone number. I don't remember where some of them were, right? You ever see a billboard and you're like, oh, I saw that thing, or see a commercial and it's like, oh, I saw that. I don't remember where I saw it. Was it on social media? Was it on TV? Was it in the football game? Was I at a friend's house? I don't remember when I saw it, but I don't remember when it's coming out, but it's coming out. And I don't want that for your church. I want people to see your church and say, I need that right now. Or I signed up for VBS. Or there's a VBS going on next week, but I don't remember which church it is. I don't want to go to the wrong one. Instead of, I signed up for this VBS last week. They showed me, I saw it on Facebook. They don't even remember it's an ad, but they remembered how you made them feel. Like there's something cool for their kids, that they're going to be relieved for a couple hours. They can take a date night if your VBS is at night. Thank God for this church. Mother's Day out. All right. Thank God for Mother's Days out. People they aren't going to church anymore unless you have something digital for them. It's your new first impression. Go watch one of our previous episodes where we talk about the new first impression is not in person. We spend thousands of dollars every year upkeeping a physical building that most people will not go to because we're not upkeeping the digital presence the first time they're going to experience our church. It's why this is so important. Okay. And I understand that you may think, oh, this is all business stuff, man. My business advertises. The company I used to work for advertises. They're talking about ROI and conversions and CPCs. And we can get into all those details. That's something for the professionals to worry about, but you need to worry about where the attention is. And it's online. And so don't rely on just traditional methods. You do traditional methods, you're going to get traditional results. And if your traditional results right now are yielding a stagnant church where you've got just as many people leaving as just as many people that just happen to be coming through the doors, And if you're okay with that, great. You're probably not listening to this show. I feel like you're not okay with that. You need to do what you've never done before. And not only that, stop treating communications as a one-way street. We don't live in that world anymore. I can go to someone on YouTube and I can send them a message and I can talk to them or talk to one of their team and get direct answers about the product they're selling, about the coaching program they offer, about the t-shirts they sell, about the game they made and developed, or about the news they just reported on. I can go have personal communications with these people. And that's why these influencers are taking off, because they're doing stuff that the businesses don't do, and certainly that the churches haven't done. They're opening up these two-way conversations. And so stop treating marketing and advertising and promotions and raising awareness as a one-way street. Treat it as an opening for a two-way conversation. Instead of running a Facebook ad that says, hey, look at how great we are. Don't you want to come here? Run a Facebook ad that says, how can I pray for you? And when you do that Facebook post or Instagram post or whatever, and hey, let me pray for you, and they comment, and you're like, oh, I just prayed for you, send them a message. And I know it seems cheesy, it may not be for everyone, but record yourself praying for them and send it to them. How much more encouraging is that rather than just a prayer hands emoji? So you're going to get personalized engagement. You open up that two-way conversation, you're going to get personalized engagement, meaning you're going to have personalized interaction. You're going to show that your church is committed to this person to see their life changed. If you don't demonstrate that, they will assume you're like every other church. They will assume you're full of abusers, full of hypocrites, and you just want some money. Show that you're different. Demonstrate it. And when you do that, you're going to build trust and authority. You're going to build trust that you're different from the others. You're going to build trust that, okay, I can trust you. This is a safe place. I can bring my kids here. And you're going to demonstrate authority. You don't want them saying, who does this pastor think he is telling me what I need? What does this dude know about me being a wife? But if you take the time to have a personal conversation that could have been initiated through a personal invite online that makes it feel like it was just for them, or an advertisement, or a follow-up email or text. Hey, Brianna, this is Pastor. Just want to let you know we're thinking about you. I haven't seen you in a while. Love to have you come back for Christmas. If there's anything we can do for your family, let me know. Right? That's one of our reach back campaigns that we do. We usually run it around Christmas time, but I'm thinking about opening it up next year. You give us a contact list. You give us a message you want to send. We will automatically send it out, and you get the responses. And you can reconnect with the people that have fallen away from your church. You can do it by hand too, but we just do it at scale, so you don't have to send 50 text messages or 500 text messages by hand. So you need to evolve beyond what you've done before to get what you don't have and what God's calling you to have. The abundance in attention, the abundance in people coming in to be made disciples, that they can make disciples. It starts by reaching them where they are. 2024 is a great time to do that. I had a call with a pastor today. We're going to start Facebook ads for him, and we're doing Google ads already, but we're not doing Facebook ads. And I explained to him, and I'll explain to you now. I'm sure you're aware, and if you are, bear with me here. For the people that are unaware, I'm about to radically change the way that you view the internet. We're running Google ads for him, which is intent-based marketing or advertising. Essentially what it means is they take the first step and then we come in as an answer. So someone searches how to improve our relationships, and then the church shows up as an ad. Hey, we have a book on biblically sound love and what that looks like and how it can fix your relationships, essentially. It's not the exact message, but that's kind of what it is. So they initiate, and then the church comes and answers. Okay. There's other social media that can be demographic advertising, meaning we're not waiting for them to tell us they want something. We're going to go show them what's available for them, and then they can take a next step. So we're taking the first step, not them. When you do that, number one, you can create personalization in that. I know this is only going to families, so we're just going to talk to families. We're not going to say, oh, whether you're single, married, got grandkids, your kids are going to love this. No, it's We know you're a family. You have a family, so this is built for you. This is why we're here. You need to know about this. It's just like evangelizing. I know I just met you at the coffee shop, but I got to pray with you right now. It's the same thing. You're interrupting someone's day, and it's okay because it's in the name of Jesus, not in the name of profit. So that's okay. And when you utilize that value exchange, meaning you give them something of value, prayer, attention, concernment, even benevolence, not about to do that online, but it's the same thing. You're giving them a prayer guide, a devotion guide, something to help them improve their relationships. They believe, and they think correctly that your church is there to serve them. That's what we want them to know, right? I mean, so many pastors tell me, I wish our community knew that our church was here for them. The reason they don't know is because you're not going where they are and you're not speaking to them in a way that they feel understood. You're just another black line amongst a world of black lines. You personalize your outreach, you are going to stand out. And you can do this with your congregation, but you can't do it at scale. And eventually your congregation is going to tap out their network. And eventually they're going to burn out because you're essentially telling them to make cold calls all day. Not that they're actually calling, but they're just meeting new people at all events and they don't see them ever again. It's awkward. So if you're afraid of advertising, I understand. So much advertising in the church world has been done wrong. Someone told me that they got an ad for a church that was 2.5 hours away. Like, that's a waste of money. That's losing trust and credibility because this church wants me to drive 2.5 hours away. Who do they think they are? Or this church obviously doesn't know what they're doing. And they obviously got money to spend because they're wasting ads on a person that can't go anyways. More reason not to go to church. I understand that that's a fear. And that's why we're here, is to help you, coach you, or just do it for you to make sure that doesn't happen. And one of the churches that is doing this really well just has a simple ad. Hey, this is Pastor Joe. I'm at a church in town, just a few miles away from you. And I'm offering prayer to the community. Maybe you don't believe in God, maybe you do, but I'd love to pray with you and just send you some good vibes. I wouldn't say that, but Pastor does. And he opens up new conversations with people that just need to feel cared for. You can't do that with a phone book ad. You can't do that with a yard sign. You can't do that with a radio ad. You can do that with digital outreach. And you can do it in a way that the digital missionaries can't, in that you have a physical body of believers that they can then continue to experience community with. Distractless community. Because if my community is on Discord, guess who else is on Discord? All the other communities I'm a part of. That's actually a strength you have as a local church. You'll build more relationships ahead of time. And all these people building relationships with Amazon, with activist organizations, with political organizations, with politicians, that attention needs to be brought back to real community and real ministry. And the reason they're focused on them for answers is because we have not been speaking up as a church. It's time for us to do that. So make this commitment in 2024. Number one, let's be intentional with our outreach. And if we're not happy with what we have, let's reevaluate what we're doing. Maybe instead of spending $200 a month for a newspaper ad or $2,000 for an Easter newspaper ad, what can we do to do personalized outreach? What does that look like? Which, by the way, you can always schedule a consultation with us. In fact, I encourage you, I shouldn't announce this, but I am. I encourage you to do it by the end of the year because we're going to start charging for them next year. It's just, we've gotten to that point where we need to charge for them. So you can get that consultation with us and you'll know exactly how to reach the people you're equipped to serve. We can coach you through it and you'll be able to do it yourself instead of constantly paying us to do it, or we can just do it for you. That's fine too. Some churches need that. They need to outsource. That's fine. But look at 2024. What did you budget for that probably isn't going to work? I mean, it's probably not going to work. A lot of pastors I talk to, they're like, we're just checking a box, but we don't know what else to do. That's why I'm here. That's why I want to change that. You're checking boxes. That's why you're the best kept secret in town. Let's do something different and make you well known throughout the community. I think it's an overused phrase, but it's true. Let's get the community to know, like, and trust your church. Be intentional. So what do we have planned for 2024, and how can we personalize it? Maybe we don't do the generic Easter ad, but we do a personalized social media ad to families. We put events up on Google for families and intentionally reach these people. And you will see that $2,000, where it may have brought 8 people to church on Easter, can bring 180 people, however much you can handle. God can bless that. And he has been blessing it in our own clients, in our own ministries. And how can we utilize the tools we already have now? How can we utilize, instead of just sending a generic, hey, church, here's our newsletter, what if it said, hey, Kathy, here's what you need to know this week? Because things are busy. We're not going to take up too much of your time. We're not going to give you a bunch of things to worry about. We're going to give you one thing to think about this week. Same reason why some pastors, they just preach one sermon a week. They don't do Wednesday night sermon. They don't do small group, different curriculum. The curriculum in small groups emphasizes what was already taught on Sunday because they know people can't focus on more than one sermon a week. I appreciate those pastors because I'm one of those people. And when you personalize it and you understand what their needs, felt needs, desires, and problems are, you can speak to them personally. You will see much more. Your dollars will go a lot further. Your time will go a lot further. And more people will be tuned to who you are, so you can share the gospel with them in a meaningful way. That's what the power of personalized church communications really means. And when you use it as an outreach, which is the whole reason I have this, you can use it in your emails, bulletins, newsletters, whatever. Like, that's great. But you're just preaching to the choir. You're just preaching to them better. I want you to reach the community better. And that's what personalization can do. And so if any of this made sense to you, you can go to NavaChurchMarketing.com, learn more about us. We're going to have a new resource coming out this week, an update to our definitive church marketing checklist. You can see what you're not doing that can help you reach 10 times more people in your community. If you even convert 10% of those people, you're going to get double the number of people, whatever the math comes out to. I'm not a mathematician. I'm a church marketer. You will see a very, very positive change in 2024. And so that's going to come out this week, first to our subscribers, and then we'll roll it out to everyone. You might see it as an ad, and it'll be very personalized because we work personally with churches. We're not a software company that you just sign up for and you never talk to a person. We're a very personalized approach. So we started as an agency. We're moving now into coaching. Maybe someday we'll move into software, but I want to work personally with pastors. And I know that limits me, but that's where I am right now. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a review, leave something nice, leave something naughty, whatever it is. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. God bless.
That's going to do it for today's episode of the Best Known Church Show with Justin Nava. Be sure to subscribe to stay updated on the latest news, strategies, and resources that you need to reach 10x more people and become the best known in your community. To send us a message or leave a voicemail for Justin to be played on a future show, visit thebestknownchurchshow.com. And if you'd like to work with us so you can focus on your ministry, give us a call at 832-861-7654. Until next time, stay outrageous, unreasonable, and relentless.